2020 lockdown, quarantine.
Yo, welcome to Trash. Truth, realness, authenticity sounds hard. The podcast where we ask questions and listen to the answers. Question: during lockdown, what positives do you think the world has gained from it apart from being safe? What negative outcomes have you seen so far from it? What would you keep from it all and place in the freezer? What would you put in the trash? Coolers.
Hi, my name's Kelly from North London. So for me, I believe that there are a few positives that have come out from lockdown. I think firstly, families are now able to spend more time together, we're communicating more and able to appreciate each other's thoughts and viewpoints. Our homes are no longer just used as a pit stop for somewhere to sleep for a few hours, eat, and then back at work again. Our homes have become our sanctuary, our safe zone. We also now have time to focus on being a better person and learning how to use the creative side of our minds. I also think that we can now identify what is actually really important and how material goods don't always bring happiness to us long term. You know, we've previously been consumed with, bought many things, not really thinking about why we need those items, such as clothes, shoes, jewelry, whatever it may be. We now know what we really need. One of the most significant things to come out of this reset or lockdown is actually the importance of our loved ones. I believe lockdown is teaching us to also value our immune system and our health much more. Some people, have been walking around under the impression that they will always be healthy, that, they can't fall ill. And we now know that the foods we eat and how we behave daily determines how strong our immune system actually is and enable us to fend off most problems before the use of any sort of medical intervention. So for me, those are the real positives. And also, let's not forget about the, reduction in pollution, in that, our earth has been able to breathe, Mother Nature has been able to breathe again. So for me, those are, some of the positives I believe I've gained from lockdown, apart from the obvious of being safe and staying safe. All of the positives that I've mentioned, all of those realizations, I would take them and put in the freezer. But I would also, mention that even though I've highlighted those positives, there have been negatives of the lockdown, such as the blow to the economy and to jobs. There's been countless people who have seen a reduction in their income or no income at all. We've seen the disruption in education of our children, due to school closures. The fact that children and parents have had to adjust to homeschooling hasn't been easy. When you think about individuals who also live alone or elderly people who are isolated from their families, then there are concerns around mental health issues as people suffer as a result of the restrictions on social interaction and anxiety that's just triggered by such a global pandemic. There's also the issue of domestic violence increasing because of lockdown. So all of those, I think, are negatives of having a lockdown, and I would put that in the trash.
My name is Shaniqua. I'm from South London, and I'm going to talk about the positives that you gain from being in lockdown. So the first positive that you gain from being in lockdown is that the number of STIs have lowered since we've been in lockdown. This is due to people not having sexual intercourse because you can't meet other people and you can't have that pleasure. This is a good thing going on in Britain at the moment because the cases of STIs have increased, and this allows us to see that people that are not having sexual intercourse can stop and prevent themselves from getting STIs, and it gives more people a wider view on how dangerous STIs can and how you can get back your normal life. For example, HIV is a really bad STI, and people wouldn't want to get that because you have to take pills for your life, and you wouldn't really want sexual intercourse with other people. So that has lowered during lockdown for the last 2 months. Another positive that has lowered as well is the amount of people smoking cigarettes. Now, this has lowered because of the corona. If you smoke more cigarettes during the corona, then your lungs will start failing. The coronavirus affects your lung and your respiratory system. Um, the lower the number of people smoking gives us a wider view on how us Britons can stop smoking and find another activity to do. This links to people being fit, and we'll come on to that later. So the number of people that stop smoking cigarettes or it's lowered and they're stopping themselves this is important, because if you keep smoking your cigarettes during coronavirus, then there's a high chance that you can get coronavirus because your lungs will be weak and your immune system would not be able to handle and your immune system will not be able to handle this. Um, Reports have said that the NHS staff has seen what it does inside of your lungs, and it's not a good view. So if you start smoking, your lungs will turn black, your liver will be black, your lungs, it'll be harder for you to breathe, and you could be one of the people that die from coronavirus. Another positive during this lockdown is more people are getting fit out here because there's nothing else to do, and exercising is another way for you to enjoy yourself and keep yourself motivated instead of sitting at home and doing nothing. This allows people um that have that are insecure about their bodies to be out there, start running or walking, and this might later on in life help us or help them to exercise more and have that motivation. People have diabetes due to being overweight, but if they're looking after their weight now, then they might not have the chance to get diabetes. Diabetes also will, you have to be careful around coronavirus as well, because you can easily get affected with coronavirus and diabetes. So the more people are out here exercising, the more their minds are clear and they can have a good mental health. Now the positives of this lockdown and staying inside. People usually have work or school to go out. People usually have work and school to go out to escape from their households. Now, some people suffer abuse at home, and this is usually younger children and their parents. So when younger children go out to school, that's their escape route. They're in school for 8 hours or more because this gives them their life and they can enjoy it instead of getting abused, not fed, verbally abused, emotionally abused, and physically abused. So this allows you to. So this is a negative because people out here, young children, are suffering at home right now for 2 months with their parents that neglect them, and no one knows about it. And then, and then, if they're neglected, then they can't really open up. They can't tell anyone because they're scared in case they get beaten up, and it's just another escape route. So people out there, children, if you're listening to this, reach out to someone and tell them. Another one is the internet during lockdown. Now, the internet is a big thing and it's been a big thing for time, but there's so much bullying going on the social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, house party. Like no parents will know what's going on in their child's phone. Now, because of lockdown, children will go onto their phones for 9 or more hours because there's nothing to do in the house. But deep down, the parents won't know what's going on that phone because the child will keep it away from them. This is another type of abuse and bullying. Now, I feel like children during this lockdown won't be able to reach out to their parents more or reach out to someone that can help them, like Childline, because of them staying inside the house and no one's seeing them. This will allow their mental health to go bad, and we wouldn't want that. Another negative is mental health. Now, you need to look after your mental health during this pandemic, because if you don't have self love or think about yourself once in a while, then something really bad could happen to you. You could faint, have a heart attack, or you can go a bit crazy, and people wouldn't like that. So, if you need help out here, contact someone, Childline, a mental health person, or one of your family members, and I'm sure they will help you to get through this pandemic. Or I know some people have diaries and they can write it down to get their thoughts out their head, but try and do something during this lockdown and try and distract yourself, and you'll get through this in a few months. Just keep safe and entertain yourself. Thank you. This is Shaniqua. So what I would put in the freezer is people exercising daily. This allows their health and their condition to get better. It allows them to have less risk of having health problems in the future. And this allows their mental health to be good as well. If they have a 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute daily exercise, this will allow them to have space and think more clearly. What I would put in the trash is how people are panic buying, because it's not the end of the world, and for them to be panic buying flour and tissue, they're not really thinking about the key workers out here and what other and old people and what other people needs are. So I'll put that in the trash because everyone needs to share once in a while.
Okay, folks, so now you heard some real views. Followers, make a comment, tell a friend about the convo. Trash.